Hi, Jean. All right, I'm going to do your soul rebirth journey now. So I'm just going to relax and then we'll get started, okay? There's just a quiet stillness. There are two glass doors. I'm opening one of the doors. There are flower petals coming through the bottom of the door. They're weaving into a room, sort of meandering in a snake-like way. Literally just white flower petals, maybe a foot tall, one after the other, like little feathers, coming into the door. Right there at my feet. I'm looking down. I had expected to leave the room, but instead, flower petals are coming in this strange way. The floor seems to be made out of like a golden liquid. It's not a really orangish colored gold, it's more of a brown gold. I instantly plug my nose and say, I'm going in. So I jump into this brown golden pool of water. I jump in. I literally do a cannonball into this pool. I'm sinking down, down, down. I am curled up in a ball and I am ready. Continuing to sink down, down, down. I start to uncurl and I swim down further. This liquid is starting to turn into blue water. There is grief and sadness I experience as I go down further. Like all this water is tears. There is a man down here. He's much like Poseidon. Seems like a god of the ocean type of. He's got a big flowing beard. It looks like Little Mermaid style Poseidon way down here. There are conversations, echoes of thoughts down here. He has something like a shell in his hand that he's opening up, something inside of it. Something that sparkles. He's looking at it. And he closes the shell. He looks off into the distance and is in thought. He then looks down to the ground, holding this in his hand. There's a ring inside of it. I don't know if it is the memory of somebody he loved that had passed away, and he has the ring now in this container, or he wants to propose, but it feels sad. It feels like a sad moment of loss. It's like this golden shell. It's like a clam. It's gold, made out of gold. Is a memory itself, a very special memory itself. He holds it in his hand. It is valuable to him. The memory is valuable to him. It's not the ring, it's the memory that is valuable. He doesn't have any pockets. He holds it. There's just a pause right now. A part of him swims forward. He swims forward, but a part of him stays where he is. And part of him wants to just dive into the sand and go deep down. He is sort of confused as to which direction he should go. He's sort of in a a thinking way. He's sending parts of himself in different directions and then trying to imagine what will be his future, if he goes forward or if he goes downward, which direction he will go. Spirit asks him, if you could go inside yourself, how would you accomplish that? He literally, it's interesting, how many times do we as human beings try to project our future, and we start getting into a fantasy world thinking about, what the future might hold. There's a part of our soul we are fragmenting off and sending it out into a space, a materializing space, and interacting with it in order to weave a future pattern. Whether that fully happens or not, you try to visualize the future, right? So I've never seen the soul fragment pieces of it off and send it in different directions in order to comprehend itself, but that's what I'm seeing here. It's really interesting. So how do you fragment a piece of yourself off when you're trying to go inside yourself? How do you send a part of yourself inside of yourself? How do you discover what is truly inside yourself? He is so lost in his own mind. There's very little real activity going on as far as passion goes. Because when we're passionate, suddenly we are motivated. When we're passionate, we're going places, we're doing things. We're manifestors. When we're passionate, we're manifesting. He is just sort of lost, without much energy to manifest any change. He even feels more confused or less energetic when he is called to go inside himself, journey inside of himself. He feels even more inactive, emotionally inactive, just not desiring to really explore that as an option, not even sure how to. Spirit says, so will you just stay here for all eternity in this one spot? You will never go anywhere. You will never do anything different. You will just remain right here where nothing will ever change. You'll be right here. It's literally like a underwater Ariel, the Little Mermaid. King Trident is what he looks like. He looks like Poseidon kind of thing. Really huge white beard underwater, and is sort of the crown and the trident kind of thing. But it's like a grayish white sand. There's kind of a rock here. There's nothing here. There's just water and him and like a rock and some grayish white sand. And that's it. He has not moved from this space. He has sent ideas, parts of his soul to go inspect the possible futures, but he himself is not actively participating in doing anything but just being in this spot. And that's it. He's not going to go anywhere else. This is starting to break down his ego. When the ego breaks down, it gets angry. He doesn't like being told that he's doing nothing with his life. He insists he's been doing everything with his life. And that having feelings and thinking about the past and holding onto this ring, this golden clam, and sending ideas out in these different directions is doing something with my life. Can't you see I have been doing something with my life this whole time? I have been feeling and I have been thinking and I've been discovering these aspects of myself. What else do you want from me? That's what he's saying. That's his ego breaking down. Because in order to transform, our egos have to be tested. And when we overcome the broken ego, now we can start doing new things with our life. Now we can start building new structures and going to new places and making new friends and having new relationships and stuff like that. So ego gets vulnerable, ego gets angry. Ego gets vulnerable, ego gets depressed. Ego gets vulnerable, ego gets all kinds of different things. And once we get over that type of energy lesson, now we become stronger. Now we become empowered, and now we are ready for new things. He refuses to budge. This is in your spiritual atmosphere. This story, this energy story is in your spiritual atmosphere. This is about you. And about sneeze. I almost sneezed. When things get really energetically intense, the sneeze happens. And I overrided it. I said no to sneeze, and then I didn't sneeze. He's really not budging. He's like a donkey. He's stubborn. He won't budge. And nothing, I'm doing all kinds of energy like tests on him to see if I can change anything. Let me just see if I add something to the scene. Let's see if I can alter its behavioral pattern. I'm going to manifest before him so he can see me, and I'm giving him a bouquet of flowers and bowing before him, and I say, I love you. These flowers are for you. You have been waiting for me for a long time, haven't you? He starts to blush. He's not sure what to make of this. He's still holding this ring. He's confused. He's now angry. You can't, he's like, why are you barging into my life? I didn't tell you could come into my life. I didn't say you could show up here. Now I start to tease him. I become a really small insect. I disappear, and then I turn into something very small, and I'm sort of crawling on his shoulder up to his ear, and I say, yoo-hoo, I'm still here. He's getting even madder. He's slapping his ear. He's getting mad. I was like, I'm getting reactions out of him. I'm making him mad. Let's see if I can tease him and poke him some more. Let's see how mad I can make him. How silly he is. Oh, what should I come up with next? I disappear, and then I turn into something like scissors, and I start snipping his beard off. His big, long beard. I snip it right in the middle. I start to do that and wait, see how long it takes before he notices. He still hasn't noticed. I've almost snipped off his entire beard. Oh my gosh, you're supposed to notice already. He is so mad. He's starting to boil, and he's starting to feel like he needs to be active now. He suddenly needs to be active in doing something. And what he needs to be doing is something here. He has noticed the beard, but he's ignoring me. He's not going to let me win his anger energy. He's not going to feed me his anger energy, because me teasing him is like me sort of like, yeah, I'm making him mad. Let's see what else I can do to piss him off. Like, he's actually doing a good job of not giving in to me. But guess what? My pokes and prods and teasing is making him actually do something with his life. Otherwise, he would just stay there. So it was actually a kind thing I'm doing for him by pissing him off. I'm giving him a kind gift, which is called life change. Sometimes we need to be poked so many times that we can't take it anymore, and now suddenly we wake up and we demand something new happen. We become active through anger, through all kinds of different energies that we can use. He's turning red. He's bubbling up on the inside. His trident has a mind of its own, and it's coming straight towards me. It's like, I'm invisible. You can't. It doesn't hit. It just goes through me. I'm like the water right now. Say, is that really useful for you to use your energy in this way? He wants to melt the gold of his trident. He wants to melt all the gold down. He's starting to turn the blue water into a brown golden energy, and it's all melting and boiling gold energy. He's using his anger in order to melt all the gold down. Even the water, which was turning into like a blue, like a normal water place, is turning into a melted gold and bubbling and popping. But he's trapped. He's trapped in this space. See, he's done it to himself. He still hasn't moved. The only thing he's really done is reacted, moved his trident towards me, and now is activating energy to manifest a bubbling anger world in liquid gold. But he's not moving his body. He's not swimming away. He is not swimming to another ocean. He's not manifesting a portal and swimming through it. He's not going to the surface. He is not growing legs. He's doing nothing. Is he lazy? Or is he going through something right now? And because he's going through something, he feels stuck. He can't find his legs. He can't find his motivation. He can't find himself. He's going through something. It's amazing how often we go through something and we get looked at as lazy. Sometimes I think laziness is a real thing, but I also see that there's energy as part of why we behave the way that we behave. Everything is energy. Our joy is energy, our grief is energy, our laziness is energy, and all energy can be transformed, but the heart has to want to change. The heart has to long to do it differently. The heart has to long to be different. So sometimes people go through laziness for an entire lifetime and then they look back and say, I didn't accomplish anything. I just tried to get everybody else to do everything for me. You know, it could it could be any scenario. So now laziness becomes a learning lesson over lifetimes, but it's still energetically a part of the experience. It's still an energetic part of the experience. He could be in this world for lifetimes, for millions of years, until he chooses to decide he has the power to move. He has the power to change. He has the power to do anything that he wants. But for some reason, he feels powerless. And he can't manifest the right energy in order to help him go places. He doesn't even know where he wants to go, and he's lost and confused inside himself. This is in your spiritual atmosphere. This is a story that you will relate to. This is a story I think a lot of people will relate to. I'm talking to Spirit. I'm telling Spirit everything that I've discovered about him. I tell Spirit, if he does not choose to move, I cannot force him to move. I love this soul so much, but in the end, it is this soul's choice what it will do next, not my choice. I can only inspire it to choose differently. Instantly, a beam of light comes into the space. This boiling gold water is turning into a blue. It's softening and calming down. It's turning into a blue again. It looks like a normal ocean bottom, kind of cartoon-like. There's a man standing here, an energy man. He's got a old school style underwater like adventurer or something, like this massive orb on his head and this like really heavy suit and a tube that goes up to a submarine or something, and there's like bubbles, and he's walking like he's in outer space, but he's underwater, and he's walking towards Poseidon, King Triton, or whoever this mermaid man. But he's a spirit. He's in a blue energy hue. The closer he gets, the more he reminds me of Legolas. He looks like Legolas. From like Lord of the Rings. He does. He has white blonde straight hair and it goes down. He has it kind of pulled back. He has serious eyes. He has a handsome demeanor. He's a handsome man. Poseidon does not notice him at all. He's in a different dimension. Poseidon cannot see this spirit. But the spirit can see Poseidon, and he touches Poseidon's heart and says, "You will be different now. Someone prayed for you. Someone prayed that help would come to you. I heard the prayer, and I'm here to help you. I touch your heart, and now I manifest change for you. Because somebody prayed for you." He looks at me and smiles, and he thanks me for caring so much about this one that I would pray for somebody I don't even know. He touches my heart. He looks into my eyes. He tells me I'm a good person. I feel love inside of my heart because he did that. I feel different. I feel really touched and moved by that gesture. I didn't expect anybody to come help him because I came to help him. And in the end, if I'm not successful, then who is? The Spirit came up with a plan. Spirit intervened. Spirit sent a helper. Let's watch and see what happens. This energy work is making an impact in your heart, just so you know. It is teaching you about the power of prayer as well. It is teaching you about yourself through this story. He starts to feel the love in his heart the same way I felt the love inside of mine when my heart was touched. He notices love is in his heart. His heart starts to grow in a red flame. It starts to break apart an outer shell. It is dissolving an outer shell, an outer identity that wasn't truly him. He was somehow imprisoned inside of himself. That's why Spirit kept asking him, telling him he needs to go inside himself. There really is a man imprisoned inside the shell that was Poseidon. He really is got some sort of rounded piece and some blue electrical wires roping him up, like it's some sort of like futuristic device, and he's a human being and he's a man, and he's just been stuck forever. He hasn't been able to control his own journey or direction. He's even bound around his mouth. There's even something around his neck, a shackle around his neck, very tight, and a chain. We don't know what he's attached to, but he's on the ocean floor. We don't know how it all became like this. This is all we know as of right now. I ask Spirit if you will help him become unbandaged, unbound, unlocked, released from this. Spirit sends a beacon of love into my heart and says, you can conquer this one, Abbey. We are with you. I say, okay, I was just seeing if maybe I could get another spirit to come down. Legolas or something. Alas, it is I. So I walk to him. They say you are not in bondage anymore because love has come here for you. I put my hand on that, and it instantly, it was like a spider with long arms wrapped around him, holding him. And they all come inside, and now it's just like a little round thing. He is telling me something through his mind, that that shell that he had was not necessarily a ring. It was like a sundial or something. It had something to do with looking at time, constantly checking what time and then closing it, like a pocket watch. He still feels suffocated because he's a man. He can't breathe underwater. I say, well, you got your legs now, don't you? Why don't you swim up to the surface? Everything is unlatching except he still has like a cloth piece around his face. He is swimming to the surface. There's this chain attached to his ankle is very long, so he can be up at the surface, but there's a heavy ball down there. He takes the cloth off. He's up at the top in the room with the glass doors. He takes his shoes off. He slides this anklet thing off of him. He puts it into the water. He's shaking and cold. He's confused. He is holding himself and rocking. He's literally, he's shaking. He's just like it's been a traumatizing experience for him, and he never thought he would get out of it, to even be this far. He didn't even know he could make it. There's just a long pause right now. Your spiritual atmosphere is catching up with all this energy work. There's a scene with really gorgeous butterfly wings. They don't look like any butterfly wings I've ever seen before. They're rainbow. They've got rainbow colors and really intense yellow with rainbow colors. They're the prettiest butterfly wings I've ever seen. They're like so intricately designed. They're really gorgeous. And I just see the two flapping, just like a butterfly. I still see this room with the man. I also see myself sitting up at a higher perch. So I'm watching this massive human-sized butterfly in this little scene over here, and this man sort of at a distance on the floor where there's a water kind of coming up, and then these two glass doors, and he's just sort of still there. He looks like he's feeling somewhat better, but he's still not. He's still holding himself. He just doesn't look like he's shaking as bad. Then I'm sort of over here looking at this stuff. There's a new wave of anger. I grab a pole on the side of the wall. I take it off, and I want to bash the rainbow butterfly scene like it's made out of glass. I just want to bash it with a really long pole, and then I want to bash this scene with the guy in it. I kind of want to do some really awful things, but I don't. I just feel like I'm broken inside, and I'm crying, and I'm not really wanting to hurt anybody. I'm just so tired of this. I just feel so broken inside. I feel like my heart is a mirror that has been bashed into a thousand pieces, and they're cutting me on the inside, and I want anything that is a reflection of something beautiful or something like triumphant, even if he's still shaking or whatever. I just want it to be bashed and destroyed. I feel destroyed inside. I want to destroy anything else that is a reflection of joy and love. I am on the edge of a building. And it's not as if I'm on the top of the building. There's actually windows around a really tall building, and there's sort of an edge that comes out and around. And I'm not at the top. I'm actually came out a window, and I'm on the ledge, literally, like I'm gonna jump. The anger right now is really intense. But it's not anger, it's just broken heart. It's like a broken heart, upset. And nothing, it's sort of, what's the right way to describe this feeling? Let me just explore this some more. It feels like I want to give up. It feels like I want to jump off. It feels like I'm so sick and tired. It feels like I am the mirror that is broken. It feels like fuck all of you people. Fuck all of you. I hate all of you people. But deep down underneath the broken heart, and we're talking not a broken heart. I mean, we're talking not like on a, we're talking heart, and then bash and splintered, splattered blood, gushing, torturous pain in the heart, life challenges that make you feel like you're just so fed up and sick of it. It's not necessarily you lost your lover, but it's more like more than that. You like maybe how do you take a heart and smash it under your foot, and now that type of life experience, and that's the way this version of a consciousness feels right now at the edge of this ledge. Is also just really filling the building that it is standing on with fire and flames, and wanting to torture everybody else's life for the life it has had to endure. It wants everybody else to know what it feels like to feel like me, because nobody else really understands. It's bitter. But the reality is deep behind the heart, it's not pure. It's not a pure anger. Pure anger actually it feels this way and will do this. When it's a pure frequency, it actually will follow through with what it's saying. This is more like I'm having a I'm like a toddler having a screaming fit kind of thing. I'm not really mad once I get it all out, but this is really how I feel right now. I don't really know what else to do, so I'm just manifesting all this chaos energy because I don't know what else to do right now. So I'm just going to do this. If one good thing could transition into this person's life, this consciousness life, it would instantly put out the flames. It would instantly change everything. Because the heart is a really good heart. There's literally a person, so I got to experience the feeling of being this one, but now I'm in the observer position, so I'm watching this one on the ledge. It's a man standing out on the ledge. He heard me say, "You have a very good heart." You heard me say everything, but it all the energy changed when I said you have a very good heart. He felt that when I said that. I said, I'll say it again if you'd like me to. I say you have a very good heart. You have a very kind heart. Your heart is a sincerely loving heart, and this really isn't you. This isn't you at all, and you know this isn't you. It's just the way you feel right now makes you feel like this, but it's not really you. Do you know who you are inside? This man is turning into like a black, a really strong man. It makes me think of like, what's the guy? John Henry. You know, the railroad story. A really big, strong black man. It feels like it's coming from a slavery type of imprisonment type of life, where you are forced to work for others because you are a black person. He's wearing overalls. He says, "I really do not want to be a part of this world anymore." He means it. That now is him genuinely meaning that. When he was wanting to burn everybody in the building, he really didn't mean that. He was manifesting it, but he wasn't actually committing that act. He was just feeling that way. But when he says, "I really don't want to live here anymore," he actually does mean that. So I'm on the ledge with him. I have him sit down. There's plenty of room to sit down here. He's in the corner. It's actually a corner that goes inward. So he's got plenty of ledge here. I say you're not alone in this world. He shows me his heart is like a broken clock. He shows me his heart is also like a ticking time bomb. He shows me the rooster crowing is also his heart, identifying what time it is when the rooster crows. He shows me the sun rising when the rooster crows. He sits there and he says, I feel lost, Abbey. I don't really know where I belong. I don't know who I am. Not really sure what I'm supposed to do with that. They say, well, when you feel this deep about not knowing who you are, sometimes it helps to go superficial with it. Sometimes it helps to kind of pull up and out of that. Going too deep is kind of dangerous when you're feeling that way, when you're feeling really deeply lost. You can stay deeply lost and even go into really vulnerable places where you want to end your life. Like, it's better to just pull it up a notch and then get a little superficial with it. And we'll just start with the basics. You don't know who you are. Well, let's start with what we do know. I'm looking at you. You have black skin. You're a really big man. You look like a farmer. I know that. That's what I know about you is based on what I see about you. Just on the outside. So where do we go? What's the next step? What else do we know about you? Why don't you tell me something about yourself? It's literally like a story. Who says, I was born a long time ago. He takes my hand and we're walking along a pathway through what is like farmland. There's a big tree. It's got a tire swing. There's crops growing that look like corn. There's a big red barn. There's the sun that is coming up on the horizon. There's an old tractor. He moves and walks slowly and patiently. He's got a long day's work. His body feels worn out from doing this work over and over and over again. He's tired, but he's not tired of doing the work. He's just been doing it for a while, and his body has felt the hard labor of it. I would guess his age in his 40s, late 40s. He's got the body of like a bodybuilder. Like, I mean, he's really broad shoulders. He's very tall, like 6'4" or something. Really broad, muscular body. No gray hair at all. But the way his demeanor is, his personality, his energy, the way his body feels really worn out. He feels like he maybe, I don't want to say 50s because he doesn't look that old. He does feel tired. We've been walking a long ways. It feels like we walk in place. It feels like we've walked miles and miles and miles in place. Even though we are taking steps forward, we are at the same place that we've always been. He tells me in this world there is no moving forward in life. he kind of has a glimmering, creepy smile. He wants me to know what it's like to not be able to move forward in life. To know what it's like to walk for miles and miles and miles, and this is how far you will ever get, with the sun just at this position, with the rooster just crowing here, with the corn looking at just this height, and the red barn before you, and this pathway and the tree, and there's no wind and nothing changes. He says it's a nightmare, isn't it? But you don't know what a nightmare this is. He shows me what I've seen from the Alice in Wonderland, the second one with time, where if you vex time, it will be an eternity. When they're at the Mad Hatter's table. It's my favorite part. So the Mad Hatter teases him about a time, how soon is, how long is soon. Time gets very upset. So they're always going to be stuck at a minute before tea time. They won't ever be able to pour tea. They won't, be able to do any. They won't be able to eat any of their cakes. They're always forever stuck at a minute before tea time until Alice shows up. So it's like an eternity in hell, being stuck at this table for all times until Alice shows up. So that's what it's like for him too. But nothing will ever change. I say, you do know that you have done this to yourself. It's not my fault. It's you who have manifested this. He doesn't like it that I said that to him. We're standing on the edge again, and he says, so I guess this is my only way out, huh? To kill myself, to jump off of the edge of the building and to splatter on the ground is the only way out of this, isn't it? Say, how did we get to this here? You're showing me that you're stuck in the same position. Have you what have you tried in order to change this? This isn't the right way. He's showing me there's only two truths. The one truth, this is his life. The other truth, the only way out of this life is to commit suicide. His eyes start to burn with anger. I manifest the ground, so he's been on the ground floor all the time. And I say, hold my hand, let's walk together. I manifest a subway station. The train comes. He shows me the train won't stop. The train's gonna keep going. And now you'll see, nothing will change. I say, you did that. You didn't want the train to stop, so you consciously manifested the experience. I wanted to manifest a new pathway, a new direction, a new way of being and experiencing life. But for some reason, you keep insisting you don't want anything to change. So you are doing this to yourself. You, deep down inside yourself, don't want anything to change. You are doing it to yourself. I'm actually inspiring you to change. And when I do things to manifest change, you are choosing consciously to disrupt my gifts of change for you and ensure that things stay the same just so you can prove a point. So now you're really pathetic. You don't even know what you will do with yourself. That's the reason why you want nothing to change. Because you don't have a clue what to do with yourself. That's what your problem is. That's why we start simple. You just do something. Get a job at a grocery store and see what new people you'll meet. You'd be amazed at what happens when you just do something so random. Or is that beneath you? Is it beneath you to just do something that random that you would just get a job at a grocery store just so you could meet new people? That doesn't feel right in your heart. Meeting new people isn't a good idea. You don't want to work at a grocery store. Why don't you just start taking walks at a certain hour each and every day and see what new faces you walk past? Why don't you start a job where you have a stand out in a ped mall where there's kids playing by a playground, and you have a helium container, and you blow up balloons for kids, and you sell the balloons for $0.25 a piece, just as a gift to make a child smile. You'd be amazed at what you can do when you just decide to do something. You can go buy yourself a camera and go take pictures of nature, of sunsets, of the stars. You can start a blog and write about the pictures that you took. You could do anything you want to do. What specific thing do you have to accomplish in order to manifest satisfaction in your life? You're the problem. You could do 1,000,001 things, but you choose to do nothing and say that there is nothing that can be done, and you are stuck. You are choosing to be stuck. Again, he does not like this conversation. He takes a deep breath and looks at me. That part of him, he's got some sort of axe that he cut my hand off. He's thinking about firefighters having to put out a fire. He's thinking about what else he could do with the axe to make it hurt me. This is ego breaking down, but he's very serious. They say, so that's how you want change. You want to hurt other people, so let's put you into the same position. I can hurt you, and now we'll see how you want to change. Sometimes we need to manifest bad things for ourselves in order to change, right? You expect positive things in your life, but you're not going to do anything to make positive things happen. So now bad things happen. Now what? At least there's change, right? So I need to hack your hand off? Is that what I need to do? Is that going to make you feel good and proud of yourself? Only time you ever showed love was when I said you had a good heart. But now I'm starting to question this. I'm going into a space, a totally blitzed out space. It looks like frequency waves that are going in like straight lines. And there's sort of yellow in a dark space. Really fast. And they make noises like really off sounding noises. There's somebody in this space. The frequency waves will cut me if I go too deep into the space. This man in the space shows me how the frequency waves can turn into machine guns and machine gun me down. Machine gun my head off. They say, do you want to know what love is? You want to know what friendship is? Do you want to know what it's like for somebody to care about you? He hears me and he feels the words that I say. He sheds a tear behind the scenes of this chaos frequency. He says, I just don't know how to change. You're right. I just don't. He turns off the machine gun that he manifested. He softens the chaos frequencies that are in yellow It's just a room. I give him a long hug. He's only 4 feet tall or so. He's just a black energy being. There's another black energy being in here, an invisible one. He's got only one eye in the center of his head. He's very tall and stretched. I ask him, "Who are you?" He's glad that I asked. He takes his stool and sits down. He's so much taller. His head sticks out above a black liquid. The darkness of the space is just a dark black liquid. It's starting to go down a drain. There's a lot of energy shift associated with this, clearing the head massively clearing the head. He shows me another world that is above this one. He welcomes us both to come up into that world, so we do. We walk up these stairs into a world that is like a heaven space. They're white stairs that go into white light. There's some blue, though, blue sky here, and some golden yellowish hues in the light, sort of mixed in around. We are continuing to climb stairs. The stair goes up, then we have to turn and go up, and then we turn and go up, just like that. It's just not go straight up like a ramp. He is so honored to be here. He is so honored to help with this healing for Jean. He's so honored to share this gift of healing and wisdom. So honored to help. Sometimes we do need an outside helper just to mix up the energy a little bit. Just to help give a new feeling of energy. We're up really high. He goes up faster than we do. We're like, slow down. We're still climbing. We're getting tired. He won't stop climbing up, and we're like floors beneath where he is. I'm like, how come we're so tired and you're not? He says, he's talking about when you climb the stair to the things that you want, it can be exhausting, but don't give up trying. Don't give up hope, and keep climbing the stairs. When you keep climbing the stairs, you'll be pleasantly surprised to discover what is at the end of the staircase. He believes in you, and he loves you very much. He's a man from the stars. He's a very kind and loving man. He's just a black energy, like a black energy being with one eye and a big smile, very tall and stretched thin. He's just always got a balance of peacefulness and just love, pure love and peacefulness, and adoration for human beings, adoration for you and all you have accomplished in your life, but not just this lifetime, all your lifetimes. He says that he loves you very much. And even when you get tired on the stair, he is still filling your heart with love so you can keep persevering. I hold your hand and help you continue to climb. You're turning into a sort of an older woman. You're really worn out and tired. Really huge, thick glasses. Like bifocals. and short hair with a perm, gray and white, and a little like dress. You're not very tall, like 4 feet tall. Some sort of comic strip I keep seeing. Some sort of crabby old woman who's also kind of silly. She wears like dresses and has big glasses. I don't know what it's called, but something about that is familiar. But this version of you is still climbing the stairs, is still trusting and persevering. I pull heavy energy weights off of you so you feel lighter and able to conquer more. I go down to the scene where there's a butterfly, and I take the wings that I was shown and I put them on your back. She's instantly surprised that her legs don't have to be tired anymore, and now she has wings that can help her get up higher. This is working out great. She really likes flying. She's sort of flying in a spiral around the staircase to go upward. Instead of just flying straight up, she's going around the staircase. It's slowly going up in a spiral. She flies. She's laughing. She thinks this is like ticklish and funny. It sort of tickles her for some reason. She feels tickled and like the Pillsbury Doughboy. Like she feels like woohoo. She keeps doing that. It's like she feels ticklish, and she keeps going up higher. It's like it's sillier, like helium. It makes you sound funny. She's just doing that. It's like so happy in her head. It's like so much silliness and happiness in her head. She just keeps going by. I like that. It's really funny. She's so happy. She shows me, though, something surprising. She has a gun in her pocket, and she takes the gun out and points it at me. She says, I can shoot you from here. Like that. I can shoot that guy down there, the one by the 2 glass doors. I can shoot him too. There's just a pause. She starts to just feel like dead weight. Going up and around in spiral, it feels boring and redundant. Feels like the same old thing over and over and over again. If I don't have this gun, then I don't have the ability to do something to change. They say, haven't you discovered that change comes from your heart, not comes from any material object? It comes from your heart. So let go of the gun and see what you can discover inside yourself. She starts to cry and gets angry, but she is ready to let go of the gun. Just not yet. She stops flying upward and she sits on the platform before the next staircase. I'm a long ways down. I don't have wings to fly up. I've got to keep climbing the stairs. But I'm quickly there. I'm like the road runner. I say, this is not gonna do you any good. It's an illusion. This is just an illusion. It's not real. It's just like the illusion you're going to look like a hottie at age 20 for the rest of your life. You will turn into a grandparent one day and you will look old. It's just illusion. Beauty is an illusion. Just like guns are an illusion. There's so many illusions in this world, but the one thing that is real is the energy in the heart. The real energy is either in chaos or it is in love. The gun manifests your heart to be in chaos. put the gun down and choose to be in love. Look at how the universe has blessed you with wings to fly. Don't you want to see what this amazing being has in store for you up at the top of the stairs? She gets angry at me, but then it starts to go away because she's so sick and tired of this repetitive behavior. She doesn't want to be like this anymore. She puts the gun down and then kicks it off of the side, and it goes a long ways down. She doesn't know what to do. She's inspiring, she's sort of creating a new gun in her hand, but she hasn't fully yet. She still wants to let go of it. I hold both of her hands and look into her eyes, and I share love from my heart to her heart. I say, this is real. This is what friendship feels like. This is what love feels like. And there's so much love really close by. Just a few more flights up. She is thinking, but she is feeling far more balanced. There's a lot of energy shifting happening. There's a pretty good chance you're going to be tired after this work. Huge energy shifting going on in the mental body region. Huge. Totally changing its whole lineup of identity. Totally changing it really quickly like that. You cry for a moment while you stand and look down from this platform where the gun fell down all that way. You don't want to manifest another gun in your hand. You ask me to help you with this. You show me a halfway portion gun is existing underneath the skin of your hand. I say, simply say, I changed my mind. I don't want this. The gun pushes out and falls down, disappears. She sits down for a little bit and cries and thinks. She feels happier now than she has felt this entire time. I have not known what this feeling feels like. This feels good to me. This feels like I've made it out of that horrible cycle of feeling stuck. I feel more alive now than I have felt in a very long time. She looks at me and thanks me. She says, you really are a good friend. Gives me a long hug. And I say thank you for that. It means a lot to me. You deserve to be happy. Don't you think? She says, yeah, I get it now. There was something selfish about that other behavior. I was not admitting to myself. I really am ready to do things differently now. I get how I do that. You do that by simply choosing it. Stepping into a new routine. Switching up the daily grind. And then embracing the joy of newness as a blessing. A wholehearted blessing from the universe. A long hug that never stops. This is one of the most beautiful feelings I've ever had. Thank you for not giving up on me. I was giving up on life. But I see now that I just need to keep trying to discover who I am inside in order to find a way out of this. Find another path. It's not what's out there, but it's what's in here that I am discovering. It's what's inside me that I am discovering over my entire life. It's worth it to discover myself by doing all kinds of new things. I want to help that man down there by the glass doors. Can you help me help him? See, that's what I'm here for. To help you. And to help him to help all that you are. You are all these people, you know. She says, yeah, I suppose I am. I don't know. She starts to think about the gun again. They say, you don't need that. I instantly, like lickety split, go down, come back up with the man. He is now there. She's an old woman, he is a young man. They're looking eye to eye. He is on a lower step and she's at the top platform, so they're looking eye to eye. He's maybe 6 foot tall or so. She says, will you please come here and give me a hug? He says, I'll do more than that. He climbs up and he picks her up and says, I love you. She's only like 4 foot tall. She's really short. She's like a cartoon. He really does mean that from the bottom of his heart. He really does mean that when he picks her up. He really does mean that when he says, I love you. He does. He really does love and care about her. And she's so grateful that he could still love her, even when she was at her worst at times, thinking about destroying everything. She tells him, I put the gun down. I'm not going to use it anymore. He cries and he says, I know how hard that was for you to do. He puts his hand on her hand and their hands start to glow. She starts to be lifted up and her body manifests into a gown, a white gown, a taller woman, a radiant woman made out of energy. The two walk side by side, hand in hand, up the stairs together. There's only maybe 3 more flights of stairs. They quickly get to the top. At the top, it is like a wedding ceremony about to happen. This energy being reminds me of my friend Star Guy. He's just energetically so alike. He's so loving. He's like a black energy being. It's like he's made out of energy. He's black, but he feels just like this. He feels so loving and from a distant space, but yet not just loving to one human being, doesn't just love me, loves all human beings. Wants to remind all human beings about what love feels like and wants to help heal human hearts. Very badly he wants this, because when he heals a human heart, he feels the healing inside of his own heart and it makes him feel brighter. Even though he's black energy, he possesses all the colors of the rainbow and it makes him feel brighter, more colorful, more alive. It makes him feel so happy. He's so happy. He sees us all coming up to the top. Way, way, way up here. All the stairs disappear. Everything else dissolves. All that is the now is this. It's like totally a wedding about to take place. And this elegant woman and this man are hand in hand, and they're walking down the aisle now. There are flowers and there are people now manifesting in the aisles, and so many flower petals, even like they're falling down from heaven. I mean, it's a real live wedding. I'm watching this take place. There is a bit of a confusion once they get to where the priest is. There's a pause here. There's sort of a lot of echoes. Who am I marrying? Who's the priest? Is the priest the star guy? Who are these people? What is this about? Why is this happening? What does this mean? There's all these like sudden questions. I need to know about this. I need to know what this is. What does this mean? So I'm clearing out the energetic reaction of what is this? So that way the space can reveal itself. We just have to allow the space to reveal itself, and the wisdom is the blessing. And we discover ourselves through the gift of this story. Everything is changing. The whole mental body, the mind is sort of so lost and confused all of a sudden. It's dissolving the entire space. It's not sad. It just doesn't want to see that. It doesn't understand this. It's not going to compute this story. And it's turning everything into like a shadow. It dissolves the entire space from the space itself. It has a fist that wants to clutch and clutch out, pull out, just get rid of anything that is a reflection of unity or love or heavenliness. All of this is angering this consciousness. This consciousness opens its two eyes and they are burning on fire. It's turning into a flame of energy. It is touching me and wanting to fill me with the fire of hatred. Just fire of anger, the fire of this isn't right. This isn't me. This is what is this? It's really mad. It's really confused. It's like does not compute this. This does not compute. Period. Doesn't compute. Don't understand. Does not compute. She shows me that this spirit, this consciousness has burning eyes, but is made out of metal. Metal robots don't have hearts now, do they? Are you made out of metal with a metal heart? You have no heart at all that can truly feel what love feels like? Is that what you prefer for yourself? To be numb? To not feel? If you can't feel love, then you might as well feel nothing at all. But yet you choose to feel hatred. Why would you choose to feel hatred when you could feel love? Why would you not choose to feel love? You would rather be numb to love and then feel hatred instead. Isn't there something weird about that, don't you think? She really can't stand me. She really hates me for this. I I say you have to remember to be who you are on the inside. Is this a real you, or is this a you that has felt hurt from life, just reacting? Not actually being you, but being a version of yourself that has been hurt from life. She is sad. She starts to cry tears. They're filling up this heavenly space as though now it is going to turn into an abyss. Like where we left off with Poseidon. She cries and cries and cries and cries. She tells me I will never have that one. I will not marry him. I say, he's been waiting for you. He has not been able to leave that spot. I force her to go stand before him. She needs to say hello to him. Bringing her before him. He has a clamshell, golden clamshell. I remind her that he is swimming in her tears. It's not the other way around. She feels ashamed of herself. She is very embarrassed. She shows me herself as turning into like an ugly witch, and as this all happens, he starts to turn into stone. She said I left him there at the altar. I will not marry him. He is still stone, still made out of stone. She feels so much shame in her heart. I say, you have a right to say I will not marry you. If you do not want to marry him, you should not feel ashamed of that. Why do you feel ashamed of that? She wants to turn into stone as well and hide in the stone. Neither can look at the other, neither can speak to the other. The water is draining now. There is now wind blowing and the sands become a desert. Still neither will budge. It's just a really long pause now. There's nothing. That's the end of the story. That is the end of the story. There's nothing else to say. The energy is just completely vanished. And there's nothing more I am to do or to say. I'm already disconnected from your spiritual atmosphere. That was very interesting. There's a lot to think about. It all has to do with love and self-discovery and self-forgiveness as well. Forgiveness of the self. And choosing love and not succumbing to anything else. Because if you really don't mean to feel angry, you're just sort of angry at the time, you can stop yourself and say, why am I truly angry, and say, well, this, that, and the other. Yeah, I have a real reason to be angry. But you know what? The real me just wants to know what love is, and I just want to be happy. So, what's some way that I can avoid this situation and manifest more reasons to be happy in my life instead of succumb to anger or whatever it might be? So, that's it. That's all I can share. Sort of been perplexed. All right, Jean, thank you so much for this experience. I wish you so much love in your life. And for those of you watching, if you're interested in exploring a soul rebirth journey with me, please visit my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Thank you for watching, and I wish you all a wonderful day.